People, here we are. Little early morning show here. Plain and simple. Los Angeles. We're talking about a pivotal moment of 20 to 43,000 votes in Los Angeles. We're talking about the Pratt campaign, except the Crosby fleet, the fleet of Wi-Fi RVs, came under attack back in 2021. Repeated attacks, violent attacks. And oh, well, there's the financial rug, complete shutdown, stay at home. And oh, by the way, we're using your name, submitting it that Congress approved you for, excuse me, compensation. But we're stealing all the money. Julie Sue's going to put it in multiple accounts and start playing shell games. And she's going to basically blacklist 1.2, by my accounts, there's about 3.8 million victims. But that's my research. But definitively, there's apparently the admission, according to my research, that 1.2 million people filed fraud complaints. And out of the goodness of, Julie Sue's heart, she assigned four whole people to investigate this, which means, do the numbers 1.2 million complaints, four investigators. This is more than 10 years worth of labor. Yeah, 10-year backlog. Okay, it's only a state of emergency, 10-year backlog, but it's only a state of emergency. But of course, she hired over 16,000 people to hand money to people that did not speak English, that were not citizens, that had no ID. Over 16,000. Let's do the math on that real quick. Let's do the math. Now, if I verbally say that she stepped up and decided that vested citizens have a priority that is less than non-citizens, is that accurate? Is that accurate? We're talking about mass economic sabotage. We're talking about treason. We are. We're talking about why is there a missing fleet? There could have been a million people a day seeing this Wi-Fi fleet on the road in Los Angeles. It was scheduled to be able to appear. But violent attacks and economic attacks, various types of blacklisting and other illegal attacks, sponsored by the state of California. Let me use a 100% accuracy rating. Sponsored by the state of California repeatedly. 100% accurate. So here we have people involved in activity, and we have certain points of definitive logic. So as over 3,400 domain names were reserved, paid for, to be able to activate the campaign sequence of the Crosby fleet, to be able to encompass fire victims, to come up with brand new creative options for fire victims, among the vast array of other items. Colonial constitutional capitalism, and to guarantee that your labor is bankable if you're a vested citizen, straight out. To be able to build new from scratch hard assets. That means you can build 70 cents on the dollar of retail. Plus, pay yourself a union wage. That's like building stuff 50 cents on the dollar. Okay, so here it is, plain and simple. The math behind the reality of people in the state of California violating the United States articles, attacking the camp of a candidate and an archive system, it's an omnibus archive, as well as national security. National security. This is the truth, voters. This is reality of what these people have involved themselves in. This is the truth. There is no possible way around this. It's the truth. Do you think for 1 minute that we could put these people into fMRI lie detectors and administer truth pharmaceuticals? Do you think for 1 minute that these people are going to be able to survive those kind of tests? Mandatory lie detector on demand requirements for anybody to get a job anywhere in the state of California with a government agency of any type has been mandatory since, like, I don't know what, 1979? No joke here, people. This is not a game, okay? So the reality that we have this massive doubling standard system that is unconstitutional. Massive numbers of spies detected. Robert Mueller puts out warrants for interrogation. 280 Russians split. They go, hasta la vista, baby. They don't want to even be interviewed. And the Biden administration orders the Mueller team to stay inside of a special box. In other words, they ordered him to stay inside the box, and he was upset. He was really upset. You know why? He held an independent news conference to let citizens understand that there were other victims and that they would have to individually pursue getting proper assistance, proper protection. Proper protection because dereliction of duty of the U.S. government was inexcusable. I don't think people really understand what he said and when he said it. Because the reality that Robert Mueller was ordered to be inside a box, they handed him a whole bunch of information and said, look, it's certified. Look, it's certified. Here it is. Now, based upon what's on that table, give us your decision. Would you arrest President Trump? And he says, well, yeah, based upon this, yeah. But the reality, what's been omitted? What was omitted? The fact that repeatedly members of the Justice Department asked Mr. Trump, they came up and said, look, we want you to help us catch a bunch of Russian mobsters. Oh my goodness, would that be dangerous for you and your family possibly? Give me a break. Plus they said, look, we want you to help us catch Russian spies. Okay, yeah, okay, so what does this mean? This means this evidence was withheld. This means that President Trump was a hero. That's what this means. Trump sues the law firm concerning Robert Mueller. They settle out of court quickly. I mean, there's like this huge quiet thing about it. Can we get on with putting things on the top of the table and understand the differences of people who were illegally forced inside a box that was too tight, as other forces deliberately were pressuring to basically weaponizing stuff? So Donald Trump, in reality, was a hero. He risked his life to catch Russian mobsters and Russian spies. He actually risked his life, but nobody wants to stand up and acknowledge that. They just want to waste our time in all of this social media space on nothing that moves forward. It doesn't help our wallets get full. It doesn't help us get a new construction loan. It doesn't help us get to max production. There's no substance there. It's a bunch of clowns running around throwing stale peanuts. And I, for one, am sick and tired of it. And we have a reality here. We have a reality. I'm not going to tell you that Pratt would ultimately win in the in-state, but there's a reality here. And the reality is that just one candidate with the fleet that came under attack would have made the difference of whether or not Pratt was in the runoff in Los Angeles. It's undeniable mathematically. Statistically, it's undeniable. We have an actionable area, people. We need to immediately step forward and understand we have candidates that have been under violent attack by parties connected to the Russians. We have parties deeply involved in treason and violating the Constitution of the United States. Parties that are not loyal to the Constitution, that repeatedly are discovered in dereliction of duty and other major crimes. Voters, we have to stand up. You have to join with me and with certain other people so we can fix this. Because if you don't, what do you think's happening? What do you think's happening? How many people are being victimized and blacklisted to the point where they're dying? You have genocide occurring. Genocide all over the state of California. People, you have to open your minds up. You have to get ready to be able to participate, to get rid of these criminals.